Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. All right. Well, welcome to TACO-bout Tuesday. It's Texas Fully Loaded, and we've got wonderful things going on today. For one thing, Sandra accidentally let me get a hold of her admin password, and I've taken over the show today. Don't know a single thing about what I'm doing, how to push buttons, all that kind of good stuff. But thank God that, it's Tuesday. We're in America. And we're going to have John Boucher on the show today. He is going to be coming to us live from Austin from the impeachment hearing starting today. You know, it's been on the headlines nationwide, thousands and thousands of liberals just caught up in a tremendous mess. We had to call in the cavalry to come help. But thank God those people at Burning Man they're going to be okay. They're being brought out of the woods and all that kind of good stuff. But today in Austin, Texas, begins the trial for the impeachment hearings against Attorney General Ken Paxton. 16 different articles are going to be seen by the Senate and ultimately voted on, whereas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, he is going to serve as the judge, where the senators will serve as the jurors. and they're going to be presented the information that was assembled during the process and ultimately decide whether or not to impeach one of our own. I believe that it's a very pivotal time for Texas politics right now and the United States. There's a very, you know, it's very polarizing right now because General Paxton has his fans and has his detractors, just like anybody else, right? But everybody's got an opinion about it right now, whether or not it should have even happened. Why did it happen? Was it in the best interest of the state of Texas? What is the best interest of the Republican Party of Texas? And Simon, Sandra, yes. No, unfortunately, Sandra actually has no voice right now. I mean, she does, but I just hung up with her, and bless her heart, I thought somebody was joking, but she sounds like Mickey Mouse at the moment. I'm not kidding either. But that poor thing, they had a very big weekend. Hopefully, all of y'all got to log in last night and see our own Mr. Walter West addressing the Montgomery County Tea Party gathering, where he gave a report on what's going on down in the border. Gave a very enlightening speech. Matter of fact, wasn't even just enlightening. Mr. West actually even put a suit on, of all things, walked in there, and as I said to him last night, took everybody to church and took everybody to school and gave them an education on what's going on. You know, as far as what's going on the border at the moment, we've seen things that, or let's say I've been brought up to speed. How about that? And I've got to see it for myself lately, that it's no secret that the border is completely porous. It's wide open, and there's a standoff between state rights and the federal government on what's going on down there. But what is disheartening is that once you really get an education of what's going on, who the players are, what the options are, you see that it's really not an impossible task to secure the southern border, folks. It's not. There are options out there. There are ways to move forward. And I come to the conclusion that perhaps our border is still wide open as it is in the state of Texas, which I want to remind you, along the southern border of the United States, Texas is the last remaining red state for the moment. Now, of course, enough traffic keeps coming across that eventually that's going to change. But my conclusion is that the border is broken, and it's almost being left that way on purpose because of all the bureaucracy, the political games in play, and what's going on between the state of Texas, of course, and the federal government. You got to ask yourself. There's a Latin term, cui bono. Who benefits? Who benefits from fentanyl pouring across the border? Nationals, not just people coming up from Guatemala or Ecuador or whatever. We're talking about Chinese nationals, Russians, Middle Eastern. There's even been an uptick in, I believe it's Chinese nationals coming across the southern border, which of course has its own, story to it to begin with. But it's not impossible to secure the southern border. I believe that, I've got 2 children in college right now down in College Station. And one of them was telling me how one of her friends had finals or midterms or something coming up, and she was borrowing Adderall from a fellow student, right, to get her through it. And it scared the daylights out of me. that that was going on. And I told her, you know, do your best, inform your friends that, you know, these deaths that are happening from fentanyl poisoning, you know, it's not necessarily people abusing illicit drugs. It's just that, you know, you have kids borrowing what they think are prescription pills from other kids, and then they're ending up in the morgue because just 3 grains of sand of fentanyl is the equivalence to a lethal dose, right? But there's so many different dynamics down on the border, and I thank God every day that there are people out there like Walter West, you know, and Sandra that have been fighting the good fight and trying to make a difference, not for their own benefit, but for the benefit of the greater state of Texas and the United States of America. That they know the what's going on down there, and the way that um, you know, the culture and what people have to put up with on a daily basis in that region, and how our systems are overwhelmed. Our systems are overwhelmed. It's the educational system, the medical system, and our counties are being, you know, left having to pay the bill while the broadcast is going out. Come on over. The water's fine. You get here, and we're the land of promise. We'll start you off with everything you need, all the benefits, send you to college, small business loans, whatever you like, right? Of course, we know the Fed's long-term game is to break the system. Before you can break the system, you've got to overrun it. Well, that's being done. And, you know, the thing is, there's bigger things at play now. I mean, I was saying that we were going to have to go to war with China in order to have the Great Reset, right? The Great Reset, because no civilized nation in the world has ever recovered from this amount of debt in history without having to go to war. So, as you hear every single day on the mainstream media, you hear the word China coming up over and over and over, right? TikTok, fentanyl, intellectual property rights. I mean, the thing is, you're being conditioned to where if you hear Russia and China enough, that eventually the United States public is going to be ready and understanding when it comes time for war. Now, I had always said that it was going to be with Russia or with China, but the way it looks like now, you know, we're practically already at war with Russia. If you think about it, we're funding and assisting the Ukraine, who's in a war with Russia, but we're not technically in a war with Russia. It's not going to be pretty, folks. It's going to be called the Great Reset. It's coming. It's, in a matter of fact. I mean, we're already in a war right now with China because they're the ones that are funneling the poisonous fentanyl all the way up through South America into the United States through Texas and the other border states. So that war's already began. And then, you know, every other day we're having to put up with Russia and China, even up there towards Alaska, running exercises and getting us prepared for, you know, what's going to come. It's going to be people like y'all that are tuned in to today's show that is going to make the difference and actually give the United States a chance to continue our great experiment of our democratic republic, which, you know, according to a source the other day, there's a couple of boxes you got to check off, right, in order to define what a banana republic is. Well, out of 10 check boxes, this source was already up to 6. So, you know, what used to be considered, you know, conspiracy theories and far out ideology and what have you is now becoming just everyday life. So Michael says, go after their bonds, on their oaths of office. Shut these puppets down. Brunson case is straight on. Okay. Yeah. Hopefully, Mr. Boucher out there. Now they left last night and came all the way back to Central Texas to the mothership, and we're going to have him coming on. I believe that he's backstage right now, having a confab with the lieutenant governor, just, giving him his opinion and telling him how this should go. So I'm trying to get this over and under bet going on how long this impeachment process is going to take. If it's clean cut, in and out, it's going to be, I don't know, 10 days, right? And if there's anything material, possibly 15, I think a maximum of 20. But don't forget, every single day that this is happening, it's costing me and you money. That beautiful windfall of a surplus that we still have left over after the 88th legislative session, where they were giving it out like Robin Hood, throwing it all over the state. That's going to cost us money. Not only that, all these special sessions, each special session cost tens of millions of dollars to the state of Texas in order to get done the business that we're supposed to have gotten done within a 140-day window. But so, yeah, I was talking to Walt. I want to get a board going on the over and under. Hopefully, no matter what happens, right? Hopefully everybody remembers that the idea here is that we're in the pursuit of justice, and that the facts, and only the facts, will be brought in, presented, considered, and that God's will be presented at the end of this process, and that the state of Texas will be better off at the end of it. I'm not saying I don't have an opinion on which way it goes. Matter of fact, I think it's already too late to get here, because the way the House handled it and the Judiciary Committee, in my opinion, it was a farce. This Judiciary Committee, which consists of attorneys and what have you, one of which is my own House rep, Shelby Slauson. They put this all together and then presented it in a batched form, or actually a botched form, to the House in only about 48 hours, right? Now, of course, the House was only acting in the way of a grand jury. Is there enough information? Is there a shadow of a doubt? Do we take this forward? But it was really crammed down their throats. Timing was not an accident. Timing was not an accident. It was at the very end of the very first session. You know who I feel sorry for? I feel sorry, besides the state of Texas, I feel sorry for my buddies that this was their freshman year. This was their first session. And they went up there. They had, so much fun ideas, and they were going to make such a great difference in the great state of Texas and their own districts and what have you. And that was even taken away from them. They didn't even get it. I mean, they had a productive session, of course. Now, if we would have only had a supermajority in Austin, we could have actually gotten done anything the Republicans wanted to. Oh, wait a minute, we do. Well, we do. Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. As 43 would say, we got some fuzzy math, right? How is it that a Republican-controlled House and Senate at a state level can't produce the Republican legislative priorities that the people keep continuing to say they want on the primary ballots, right? But no, it was a complete sham in regards to the Judiciary's Committee presentation of the articles to the Texas House. And you've got some folks up there now, especially those first timers, are saying, I don't know, did I make the right decision? Can I really get anything done here? Other states, every time I tell somebody that our legislation meets every other 2 years, those legislators say, oh, that would be so great, because most of them meet year in, year out. And I said, well, the thing is that every other year it guarantees us that we're not going to have any new bloated, expanded government, new laws. In other words, every other year, the legislators can't mess anything up because the government for the people, by the people, that hadn't been around in a while, folks. That hadn't been around in a while. The way it's ran today, we're simply being ran by the largest bidder. Who can be the largest bidder? Which PAC, with which affiliation, is going to have their agenda pushed on each of these districts and each of the citizens in the state of Texas? Unfortunately, as we know, the PACs and the special interests have more leverage on most of our elected officials than the constituents do. So what do? I don't know. Maybe the answer is you go run for office, and with the agenda that you're going to do it without having to be associated with the special interest and the alignments with the different PACs and what have you. But it's not that easy. It is certainly not that easy. It takes money, folks, all right? Whether you're going to run for the House, Senate, or even federal government, right? And, I see what I did. I was trying to figure out why I couldn't get Simon's thing there. Okay. Well, it takes money. And guess what? It takes money to buy free speech. And the only way you're going to get elected, the only way you're going to get votes is by how much free speech you can get out there. Is it organizing the troops on the ground, door knocking? I mean, it is, but it's also today you got to do everything. Ground assaults, in-person assaults, telephone calls, text, social media, you name it. Because guess what? The actual machine that benefits and profits from every single election and every single legislative session, they've got more money than we do. And they've got their process down. And they've got it down to a science, down to an algorithm that even puts TikToks to shame. And they know exactly where to spend the money, what topics to push, and which way to be most effective in obtaining their candidate for their agenda. So it almost sounds like an uphill battle. I mean, so far uphill that why even bother? Unless you're just independently wealthy and won that super Powerball for 1 point some odd billion dollars, you can just do it yourself. But the thing is, here's the deal. Even if that were the case and you got elected, you're just now getting to the party. Because once you get to the party and you actually want to get something done for your constituents, now the real battle begins. Now you're going to have to work on a daily basis against the people that are already in the system to begin with. The ones whose leashes are held by their masters that put them there to begin with, and the ones who have to answer to the special interests more than they do their own constituents in their districts. So if you want to get legislation done, you've got to have the votes. And the people with the votes, I'm saying are possibly going to go with you or they're not, but it's going to take teamwork. And then let's just say somehow you get this ability to buck the system. You came in without any affiliation, any ties to any specific special interest. You get the legislation going. Well, you know what comes next? Headlines. Headlines come next. All of a sudden, staffers start getting in trouble, right? Or information starts coming to light about some kind of nefarious thing that you've done in your past, whether it's real or whether it's manufactured. Doesn't matter. It's headline politics. And the people, the puppet masters out there, know how to do the headline politics better than anybody. Nobody reads the rebuttals. especially, leading up to a primary or leading up to a general election. We're all familiar with the term October surprise, right? We used it on Hillary a few times, but it's kind of disheartening once you have elevated yourself to a position where you can actually see where the dots connect and how things work. And you also start to try to figure out how to navigate your way through that in the best interest of the state of Texas and your neighbors. And the further you get in, the further you start looking around, you start realizing that the people of the United States and the state of Texas haven't had a voice in quite some time. Can we get it back? Absolutely. If I didn't believe that, I don't think I'd be able to get out of bed every morning. I wouldn't have any hope for my girls that are in college right now and their futures. Another example is, let's just say you start bucking the system and you do something crazy like, file a lawsuit against Big Pharma. Simon?
Hey, Jack. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Happens, let's say, hypothetically, you file a lawsuit against Big Pharma claiming that their vaccination is poison and it's killing more people than were killed in all of World War II. Hypothetically, what do you think would happen after
that? I think somehow you'd magically disappear somehow, little magician work.
Okay. Hypothetically,
cancel. His lawsuit all of a sudden was gone. He just had a change of heart.
Well, in reality, what happened is, the guy's getting impeached 10 days after filing a lawsuit against Big Pharma, exposing and calling their vaccination poison. Where's that case right now? Is the interim attorney general just dedicating every day towards that case? As far as we know, I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, I think some of it has to do with him telling people to stop drinking on the job.
As far as the Phelan thing's concerned, the speaker, I guess I'm alone because I'm still saying that I believe that we witnessed a medical emergency, mini stroke, something. And I'm the only one apparently that shares that opinion, because the poor man, I mean, you've seen like newscasters, news anchors where they have their vibracious, limited, they start talking gibberish on the air and they don't know that they're actually doing it. I mean, he was perfectly fine 15, 20 minutes later. All right. So if he would have been sloshed to the point where he couldn't even pronounce what he was talking about, I would hope that he wouldn't, or expect that he wouldn't be able to be sober so quick. And I don't care about what Sandra says, because she's like, well, there was IVs in the back room and coffee. Oh, hello, Rachel.
Well, I don't drink anymore, but I do. Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
Okay. I do remember being at a bar and having a few drinks, and I felt fine until I went outside. And then, boom, it just hit me. I was like, whoa. I noticed that until I tried to get my car, and I missed the door handle. Whoa. But I was fine inside, and that was just 1 minute to the next.
But then once you stood up, you felt it, though. You didn't go back to just perfectly being sober 20 minutes later, though, right?
No, but I mean,
there's no.
I'm sorry, Jack. I actually don't know. Were you there, or like I actually don't know. I mean,
oh well, I mean, obviously we've all seen the videos of what happened that day, but I also personally know.
But I didn't see what happened.
Oh, with him,
Go ahead.
his
I'm sorry.
speech impediment?
Afterward, said he was sober. I didn't see any
Oh,
evidence of that.
that was on the air as well.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go back and watch the tape. Rachel, where in the world are you and what is going on this morning?
I think
Is she
she's
there?
having some connection issues.
Look at this. Well, I see too much greenery, so she's not in downtown Austin. I want to know what it looks like. Can you hear us, Rachel?
Thumbs up if you can hear us. You know, for a living right now, I sell auto insurance. It's one of my big things, and it always makes me nervous because they're always driving while they're doing the show. It makes me really, really nervous.
Yes, but these are trained professionals, Simon.
That's true.
We would not
I
try.
forgot.
We
They
don't
are.
recommend trying this at home. These are trained professionals on a closed track.
Yes. To the disclaimer, do not try this at home.
And are you primarily in the holy trio? You know, property, auto, insurance, life, all that kind of good stuff.
Mm.
What are you selling?
Yeah. I do property and casualty businesses. I do bonds. I guess it's my little advertisement time. I mean, personal and probably I don't do the life and health though, because I have trouble telling people what their lives are worth.
Ooh.
I'm not
You
a
know,
politician, so
I've always wondered, Simon, why is it that when I go to Walmart and I purchase a TV or any type of electronic, they offer me an extended warranty. But when I go there and I buy a 3X t-shirt, why aren't they offering me like a little life insurance at the cash register when I go by?
for a 3X t-shirt, that
Rachel, can you hear us now?
I don't.
I don't think
Rachel.
she's smiling. She's loving it.
I can hear you.
Hey, there you are.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Gonna be so I'm doing my real job today. I came over here to Port Bolivar. Our boat is unloading its catch of American red snapper.
Excellent.
So, but now I'm headed back to Chambers County. So I'm jumping on, but I'll probably be in and out because it's a back road.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, that's fun.
Glad to have you. I want to learn more about this red snapper. There was a time when I lived in Atlanta, Georgia, and we'd all get a group going and we'd go deep sea fishing out of Destin, twice a year. And I'll never forget, I don't know, maybe 22 years old, and it was my first deep sea fishing trip. And I cranked on the line for something like 30, 45 minutes trying to get this monster into the boat. And by the time it came up, it was a skinny Spanish mackerel. I was like, wait a minute. I was thinking there was a whale or something, maybe a fish with a sword and a fin on its back. I mean, I was so disappointed that after this fisherman in the sea battle I had, it was a skinny little fish.
Epic.
As a Spanish mackerel.
Yeah, they can be tricky like that for sure. You think, I mean, a lot of people, I guess they just don't realize how strong a fish actually is.
Well, it's all muscle.
What's your take on what's going on this morning, Rachel? What do you think? Do you think that the state of Texas and the citizens of Texas are going to come out better at the end of this?
If the charges are dismissed. Otherwise, I think it's a zero-sum game. I think if they go through with this, I don't see how anyone wins.
I don't know. It almost feels like they're playing Russian roulette in Austin, right?
Yeah.
But the whole time the gun is pointed at us.
Right. We're the ones at the end of the barrel. And that's
And
what
they
I'm
keep
saying.
passing it around,
like
spinning the chamber and seeing what's next.
Yes. And how I keep hearing about this forgiveness doctrine, or the fact that you can't impeach someone for things they may have done before they were elected. So how does that play into all of this? Is that a legitimate way that they could end all of this, or are they even considering it?
Simon, you got anything on that? I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I just play one on TV.
No, I'm not really. I mean, I'm like the control group because I'm the only one on here that's not really politically involved. I'm here because I'm friends with Sandra.
Oh,
So
sir,
I'm your
let me
average
correct you.
citizen. So when people are running for things, they should ask me because I'm your average person.
Let me correct you. If you're friends with Sandra, whether you know it or not, sir, you are politically involved.
Oh, snap.
Too funny.
And that is not a bad thing. And not only that, but you're also very informed as well.
That's true. That's true.
Yes.
I don't know. This whole case
Average.
thing is. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sam. Go ahead, Rachel.
I was just saying Simon is way above average just due to the fact that he watches Texas Fully Loaded. You probably know more than 90% of the average citizens of Texas just by watching this show.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's what I was doing on the elevator when I was on vacation. I know. I'm sure you saw that, Rachel.
When you were on vacation, what?
When I was on the elevator.
Oh, yes, and you were facing all of the other people. It was a great social experiment.
Of course, of course.
Mm-hmm. I'm also figuring out a way. Look at this. I'm about to do something that's going to blow your mind, I think.
Oh, please do.
So where are they at with the proceedings this morning? Because they were supposed to gavel in at 9 a.m., correct?
That is correct.
Oh, there it
and
is.
Let's see.
Is that it?
Oh, you got us the live stream? Go, Jack.
Nice.
Yeah.
There we
Let's
go.
see. Looky here.
We can
Hooray
be like
for technology. Oh,
sports commentators.
yeah. And the lieutenant governor approaches the microphone, but wait, no, he's rejected. Rebound by the Democrat. Here we go. Patsy Spawn now doing, what is this?
Right? Isn't that her name?
And Jack, you
Looks like they're
have
doing
the
roll call.
perfect voice. You have the perfect voice for that.
Well, at least in roll call, nothing wrong or false can be presented as evidence, so that's good. All they got to do is remember their name and admit that it actually is their name.
You would think, but I wouldn't put it past them. Daniel here.
I got a little confused. Were they selling tickets to this?
No.
You do have to have.
I mean, it actually came out of the news. They said, yeah, we have tickets for this event. I'm like, tickets?
There's only so many limited seats, on the floor and in the Senate chamber. Basically, they were just saying, listen, if you're going to come in here and watch this train wreck live, then there's you got to get your tickets before it fills up.
You're probably putting your name on a list somewhere.
I mean, I figured there'd be a list, but when they said tickets, I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is you have to pay to come watch this. Wouldn't be surprised if somebody was
Trust me,
lining their
brother,
pocket.
we're all paying. We're all paying to watch
yeah,
this.
Right. Yes, we are all paying way more than money. Way more than money. We are paying with
liberty.
the respect of our state, of our society. This is beyond.
Are we? Wait a minute. According to our source at Bacon Nation, Walter West, remote, Texas fully loaded. It's been 24-6 on the vote so far. Wow. Okay.
Name the names. What are the votes they've taken so far to go forward with the proceeding?
I'm gonna hope that that's 24. Oh, look at that. 24-6, not in Paxton's favor.
Wow.
Wow. Well, there's 31 of them, so this is definitely moving forward. There's the lieutenant governor presiding over the Senate. So basically, they got a big fat thumbs down. And instead of going back to special session and taking care of the business of the citizens, they're going to have to keep this circus going on for God knows how long.
I've got the perfect analogy.
What is it?
An empty road.
No. Dumpster. I was behind a garbage truck. I'm sorry.
Oh, dumpster fire.
Yes.
So that was the vote for the motion to dismiss, and since Angela Paxton
And they don't want to.
can't vote, obviously, so we've only got 31 votes.
Right.
And wow, the motion to dismiss.
Who voted yes for the motion to dismiss? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I don't. I was able to get the video. I'm not going to be able to get the votes real time yet, but it looks like everybody's there and they're keeping track of it on a second by second basis. That it's a beautiful chamber, and I hope that it remains pristine and beautiful because it's not used for something nefarious. Rachel, were you aware of that what I was talking about, Simon, before you came on, about how General Paxton's actually filed a lawsuit against Big Pharma on behalf of Texas?
I'm sorry, say that again. He filed a lawsuit against who?
Big Pharma on behalf of Texas in regards to the poisonous vaccination.
I don't know if I knew that.
He filed that lawsuit 10 days before his impeachment.
I had no idea.
I don't think I knew about that.
Strangely enough, it's not on the headlines every day.
Yeah, there was so much going on at that time. A lot of it just got lost in the just all the happenings, because the whole house was a dumpster fire at that point. We were getting to the very end of the session. Everyone was trying to clamor and get their priorities, the bills that they wanted to work on going. And all of our, house reps and we're running out of time. Let's get crap that nobody cares about approved and put all the real priorities on the very last thing on the list to be heard. I mean, it was just a crap show. It really was.
Remember the good old days when we'd end the session sendai with nothing more than maybe a fist fight on the House floor?
I was not involved before the good old days. I only started getting active after the fake pandemic happened. That's what got me off of my couch.
That wasn't even that long ago. I mean, it was Eddie Morales and Matt Rinaldi got into a fisticuffs on the floor of the House last day of session. Yep.
That sounds like good times. I think more things should be settled that way.
Well, I mean, still some sense of satisfaction. I don't know.
The thing is, we've always got to remember, and I try to remind my own team about this all the time, right? as long as we're a group of people and we're flying under a flag called the Republican Party, all right, we got to remember that sometimes. We got to remember that we're actually on the same team. And not only that, there's actually another team out there. They're called Democrats, right? And so what happens is, you know, it's kind of sad that, especially in state and federal levels, you spend, you know, you go out and raise as much money as you can, which you're already behind the curve because Democrats are out raising us 3-1 because of all the Act Blue and money coming in from out of state, millions of dollars coming in from out of state. And then, you know, let's just say you raise money, you got to spend 80% of it fighting against your own team in a primary. And then if you have anything left over or energy or money or any of that, you can spend it for a couple of months fighting the other side to try and win a general election. Now, if you're in the House at either state or federal, well, then you're going to have to start your next reelection campaign 2 weeks after you get elected because it's a perpetual primary, right?
Right. Right.
So when people say, you know, why is it we don't get anything done? I don't know, perhaps because the people that are in charge of getting things done are having to constantly go out and fundraise and come up with allies so they can protect their seats for their next election.
Well, you know what I would like
that's another reason
our side get done?
that
I would like to see our side accomplish repealing a bunch of baloney that they've passed in past sessions. That's what I'd like to see. I don't even want them to start coming up with new crap to expand government. I just want them to fix it, what we've already got.
Well, Rachel, that requires actually looking back and realizing what they've done in the past. And that is not part of the playbook. Because if it was, the 88th legislation would have created so many laws that overlap pre-existing laws to begin with and just inflated and created more government, more regulation, and less individual liberty, you know?
Yes. Exactly. And that's my whole point. And I agree with what you were saying earlier about, you know, thank goodness they only meet every other year and they're not constantly in session. Can you imagine the size of Texas government if that were the case?
No joke. Well, trust me, you know, the other side to the fact that they only meet every 2 years is that they make up for it. That year that we're off, they certainly make up for it. I mean, you know, on any given session, there's typically about 4,500 bills that are filed or pieces of legislation filed to hopefully become bills, right? This past session, 7,500 bills were filed. Nobody has time to go through any of that.
No, but you know what? Because some animals are more equal than other animals. And so they cherry pick the ones that they want to make it and get heard.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's a broken system.
The Animal Farm.
It appears to be a broken system, Rachel, to us, because we're looking at it from a practical standpoint.
Well,
what it actually is, it is not broken for the parties that benefit from the division and the fighting, primarily in the fundraising. That system is not broken for them. It's perfect for them. It allows billions of dollars to go be sent throughout the United States. Let's see. It seriously looks like they're sandbagging Paxson. That's from Sandra in the Peanut Gallery.
Jack, I don't know if she told you, but do you know how to do a commercial on here?
You know what? I think I can figure it out. Let's see. We got this. You click this. And we got some videos. Let's see. How about the 23 TFL commercial?
That's it. Look at you.
And that's at 10:55, right, Simon?
The commercial?
Is that it at 10:55?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we skipped the
Thank you.
10:31. So
Of course we did, but that's okay. I'm so
Yeah.
excited. It was last week when we had a great time on the show, and for some reason, against their better judgment, they actually asked me if I'd mind coming on as a permanent TACO-bout Tuesday co-host feature. And so I said yes before they changed their mind. But we're very excited about some of the things that are in the works for TFL and, the 60,000 people it reaches on a weekly basis. But we're getting some new technology implemented. In other words, investments are going back into the show to be able to allow us to present clearly all the conspiracy theories that Walt and Sandra can come up with.
They're not conspiracies if they're true, Jack.
I know. Trust me, I'm converted. I see it.
It takes
now.
2 weeks. It takes 2 weeks for conspiracy to become true.
2 weeks. That's what we're down to now.
That's the average rate. It used to be 3 months. Now it's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, while we're at commercial, I'm going to see if there's a way I can pull up like closed captioning or something on the Senate feed, so we can see for ourselves in real time as they're doing their judicious responsibilities, all in the name of justice. I'm sure.
I'm sure they're not just bloviating. I'm sure.
Oh, that's one of my favorite words, Rachel. Bloviating.
Oh, I knew we were going to get along.
Well, I'm just saying it's my favorite word because it's what I do. So to bloviate. But
game recognizes game.
This, and not only that, think about what's going on as far as conspiracy theories and which are actually reality. If there's any way that the President Trump lawsuit, the hearing, the trial does not get moved from Super Tuesday, well, then that's going to be an obvious indicator that the fix is in. I mean, we know the fix is in, but at least this would be an obvious indicator to enforce the thought that the fix is in. What do you think, Rachel?
Oh, they're not going to move it. They're going to move heaven and earth before they move that trial date.
And it's so interesting that the trial is about interfering and or questioning an election when they're tampering with an election by holding it on that date.
Yes, they're going to on interfere in an election so they can interfere in an election.
Well, before I get on that soapbox, I'm going to go ahead and launch. Do what?
That's into a mirror. That's into a mirror. That's into a mirror. That's into a mirror.
Right. Well, y'all hold on. We're going to take a much needed commercial break since I missed the last one, and that's if I figure out.
back.
We're back.
We came back.
Oh, we got to thank the sponsors.
The sponsors are
I don't remember who they are. The Veterans of
Montgomery
America,
County Tea Party. Yes,
Montgomery County Tea Party.
Yes.
There we go.
Okay.
And Veterans Across America.
Veterans Across America.
Yes.
I don't know, is Mammoth Nation still one of them?
Yes, I believe so.
And we want
Okay.
to remind you to thank you if you come across a Vietnam veteran, and thank you for everything that they did for our great nation. Look at that. We have got Mr. Walter West
Saving our bacon.
live.
Woohoo! Here, I'm protesting now.
Hola, kids. How we doing?
We're doing great, Walter, and so let's hear what's going on the ground.
Yes.
We're just here at a luncheon that's going to be celebrating right here with a lot of the actual bills that he was able to author to get raises for law enforcement officers across the state of Texas. We're down here in downtown Hebronville, as you can see. This is a 3-horse town for those of you that didn't know, and this weekend was quite the sight for the dove hunts down here. So couldn't be any better. We were just tuned in to the Paxton Circus, and I guess it's lovely to see we've only got 6 true Republicans with us on this stead. A little disappointed Mays Middleton decided to jump in with the boys club. Anyway,
How did Brandon do?
What's that?
How did Brandon vote?
Oh, he's one of the 6 that we can depend upon. He's been with the dismissals this whole time. So apparently Flores, Schwartner, Perry, Hancock, Middleton. Did I say Schwartner already? Schwartner. Isn't that the guy with the DUI? The DUI and the Democrat in his car?
Dismissed. It was dismissed. He didn't. No, it was dismissed, sir.
What was dismissed?
His DUI. His DWI. He agreed to take some alcoholics classes, and that's it. His charges were dropped.
Well, I saw the
miracle.
video.
I saw it too.
Yeah. And
so which woman was his wife and which woman was riding around with him?
It was the Democrat from El Paso that was riding around with him.
Oh, I see.
Oh.
It wasn't his wife that he just picked up from the airport and took to Whataburger?
Nah.
Dang, son, he takes his mistress to the club, but he takes his wife to Whataburger?
Hey. You know, that's how they do it in Austin.
Ugh. Sad.
Well, are you? I'm so happy to find you on the border, as opposed to in Austin in the middle of that mess, where you're actually somewhere where business is going to get done.
Yeah, well, yeah, like I said, we're going to be. Matter of fact, we're going to be talking with Mr. Guillen about some of our border bills that didn't get passed. Looking at a better way to couple them together, get them married, get them to the governor's desk, get the get law enforcement exactly what it needs, get our border communities exactly what they need, get our colonias what they need, and get our counties what they need. It's, you know, the federal government's done failed us already, so that's all there is to that. Now we got to get if we can get these 6 senators. Brandon Creighton was the only state senator that offered any legislation to fund the border wall, and that couldn't even get past the House. So these guys are more interested in a circus and a circle jerk than they are of actually taking care of Texas. So.
Jeez. Well, thanks for not beating around the bush and trying to sugarcoat that for us.
Yep. Sorry about that. I'm, very, very passionate. We need to get this place closed, and we need to start pushing everybody back through New Mexico, Arizona, and California, and that way we don't have to deal with it.
That's it. You know, this little circus that's going on now in Austin. Just imagine what it's going to look like during the next election season, or Yeah, with what they're doing with President Trump in Georgia, right? And you know, I can't stop thinking about the 2000 election. Remember the 2000 election when Al Gore didn't accept the results of the election?
Yes, indeed.
Now, did they try to throw him in prison for that? Because I can't remember that part.
No, they just decided to heat up the earth another 10 degrees for 5 years. They kicked off the Iraq War in celebration of all his global swarming.
This is true. But, you know, not only was it Al Gore, but, you know, I remember Sheila Jackson Lee. Excuse my language. I don't mean to curse on air. You know, going up there and saying that she and the Democrats were not going to certify the election results because they didn't believe that they were accurate and fair.
That is correct. That happened on several occasions, by the way. Eddie Bernice Johnson of Dallas was one of the spear holders in that also. Luckily, she's out of office, but they replaced her with a different type of quack nut.
Well, I don't know. It's so obvious. They've given up trying to keep the facade of, you know, the fact that this is a real thing and this is not just a distraction. We're really seeking justice here. They've even given that up. They don't even try anymore.
That is correct. They nope. It's not we the people. It's we the serfs. That's exactly how they're putting it to us.
Oh my gosh. So has the meeting already taken place, or is it about to, or what's the agenda down there?
It's about to. We got all kind of crazy looking cop cars showing up here with big guns and lots of fun.
All right.
So I'm actually I'm gonna have to blast off because I got to get my top coat on because my side cannon here is a little bit larger than most of these guys, and I don't want to make them feel inferior.
Got it. All right. Well, have a good one.
Y'all stay out of trouble.
Oh, but of course. So I love the fact that Walter West is down there on the border, you know, working for us as he always is. Hold on. We're going to add Rachel in here. Rachel, I got you back on. And Walter is out there, you know, taking care of business as he always is for the great state of Texas. And so I actually wanted to bring up this thing about how this process is going to work. There's 16 articles, actually 20 articles that are going to be considered. We got Simon on here.
Sorry about that.
You know, I mean, just off the top of our head, let's see, disregard of public duty, official duty. Well, that's actually the majority of those. Misappropriation of public resources, constitutional bribery. Wow. False statements in official records, conspiracy to attempt conspiracy. Wow. Now that sounds like fun. While in office, Paxton acted with others to conspire or attempt to conspire to commit the crimes described in the other articles. Now, wait a minute. That just gave me a flashback to the show The Office, right? Are you the regional manager? No, I'm the assistant to the regional manager. So a conspiracy to attempt conspiracy. Unfitness for office? That's a beautiful abuse of public trust. My.
I'm telling you, if it goes through, it's like, okay, who else can be impeached then? A lot of people.
Everybody.
Well, you know, as far as what's happening on the federal stage, you know, I believe we're starting to see COVID kick back up again, or at least it's kicking back up in the news. And conveniently, I mean, really, say a prayer, because President Biden and his wife Jill have both tested positive for COVID. And I'm not doing that tongue in cheek either, Rachel. No, I'm being serious. But that's incredibly sad. Do what?
I didn't know that she had.
Well, that's just according to the headlines. And then, they say if you don't read the news, you're uninformed. And if you read the news, you're misinformed. But the timing is not. It's not a coincidence that now these variants are starting to pop up in the news. They're talking about new strains of COVID, and if that doesn't work to throw the election, process off, they're using this lawsuit against President Trump in the middle of an election to tamper with the election. And then if that doesn't work, Simon, I guess this is World War III, because if you put the United States in a war footing, well, then whoever's in the White House is going to stay there.
I think we're already there. I mean, I've asked people, like, when does it actually considered World War III?
World War III is not going to be like the first two world wars. I think I understand that.
Perhaps World War III started a long time ago behind the scenes, and due to the indoctrination and liberalization of our youth and the lamestream media, we've been being conditioned way before a single shot has been fired or will be fired. That's pretty interesting, Rachel. All right.
FBI's calling. You said wrong words.
Right.
Uh-oh, I'm sorry.
Sir, we've had suspicious activity at your location. I'd like to come register your guns. Oh, speaking of gun registration, the ATF, they're attempting to close the gun show loophole. Are you familiar with that, Rachel?
I just saw a headline about that, but I didn't have a chance to read the entire article. I'm very interested.
Is that real?
It is real. So right now, a very minuscule amount of sales of firearms in the United States are done at gun shows with this particular thing that they're talking about, the loophole. So if I'm a private citizen, I own guns, and I want to sell those guns, but I don't have an FFL, I don't have a license to do so or anything. The loophole is I can go to that gun show and I can sell my guns as long as you're not there for the purpose of, who's got the music?
That's me, sorry.
As long as you're not there for the purpose of making a profit on your sale, which I'm not really sure how that works anyway. Now that really truly only does account for, private sales of firearms, especially at the gun shows and what have you, only accounts for a small portion of actual firearm sales in the United States. But the ATF, I suppose, now wants to close that loophole and come up with a way. I believe it's just going to be a gun registration bill, because what they're proposing is that they're going to do an audit of your sale to make sure that you sold it for the price they think would be a marketable price without you making a profit on it. This is ridiculous. This is a real life situation, Rachel.
The government's going to tell me, okay, first, let's talk about that is not a legislative body or a.
You're very choppy, Rachel.
And then secondly, If I want to sell a gun to someone out of the goodness of my heart, I'm not there to make a profit, then why can't I do that?
Well, because once again, the federal government believes that the solution to firearm issues and or mental health issues in the United States, more likely, is that they should go after the law-abiding citizens that follow the rules, as opposed to actually focus on solving the problem or going after the bad guys. That's just my take on it. Simon?
Yeah, I mean, that's the nail on the head. I mean,
I know lots
I mean,
of back have canceled plans to purchase firearms illegally because they're worried that the ATF is going to close this gun show loophole.
Really? So that's already got people skirting the system to begin with, just out of fear.
We're not going to go buy these firearms the black market because they closed the gun show loophole. Yes, it's very effective.
well, it sounds about right. And just to be clear, I just came back from Corpus and I lost all my guns on a fishing trip. It was unfortunate.
Oh, yes, that was unfortunate. See, I told you
Yeah.
use bait and maybe a lead ball for your rig, not firearms as you're casting them out. But that's a lesson learned, Simon.
Yes, I won't make that mistake a third time.
Well, I want to know where John Boucher is, and if he's smack dab in the middle of what's going on out there.
I know, right? Why isn't he tweeting the storm?
Where is he right now?
Well, John is supposed to be live on the ground. I've just sent him a text. You know, he's probably, I don't know, back behind the wall in the dais, having a drink with whoever's back there having a drink right now. I'm just saying that facetiously because who knows? You don't need reality anymore in this world.
Back, not the House. This is the Senate.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I forgot that wasn't allowed in the Senate. Let's see here. No, there is no way to enable closed captioning on that one deal, because that'd be nice to know what they're talking about now. You know, typically it's hell, you know, I don't believe that they'll actually get to any meat and potatoes today because of all the legalese that has to be done. They have to go through the rules that were created and accepted going into this process. They're going to have to present those and present the rules of engagement in regards to presentation of facts and evidence and what have you, and how witnesses are going to be called and all that. So I believe today is really primarily just going to be all the minutia involved with launching this actual process.
Yes, I think it's going to be a tap dancing.
Right. Now, in the meantime, I mean, what else is going on in Texas, though? Is anything going on in Texas? I mean, thank God we know that at least something positive is going on right this minute in regards to closing our border and, you know, claiming our place as a sovereign state once again, because we have Walter West down there taking care of business for us. You know, what's going on? I wonder if they're having watch parties in Houston and Dallas at the Democrat headquarters, you know, making popcorn and high-fiving each other while they're watching us go after our own team and distract from actually getting positive legislation done, like the groundbreaking property tax break. It was the largest property tax break in Texas history that was achieved through the last special session, right? Have you all seen? No? Rachel, what do you got on it?
The problem is that fuzzy because they in the previous tax. But here's the even bigger problem is that district, our other taxes like county will eat up all of the savings, just raise that right back up. So it doesn't even matter.
Okay, so it was what you would say it was theater, possibly, more than actual groundbreaking?
Yes. And I know in our county, and I've talked to plenty of people across the state who also roller back that raise all of the values in the county have gone through the roof. So again, it's all fake and it just doesn't matter. There's a way to believe.
You are saying such profound statements right now, Rachel. You may have just changed lives. I wish we could have actually heard it.
Yeah, that would have been nice. I got like every third word or so.
I mean, I just got a flashback to the what was it? The movie with Forrest Gump, where he's at the monument and he says the most moving statement and nobody heard it.
Oh, about the war in Vietnam.
War. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not going to meant to hear it. Life could have changed.
Well, Rachel, we forgive you. We're all about forgiveness.
Rachel is breaking up like Duncan Hines in a Dutch oven. That's from our friends at Bacon Nation. Well,
that was unfortunate. She went into some FBI cutoff zones.
No joke. I tell you what. Well, you know what, Simon? Right now, all across the state of Texas, it's budget season, right? Your county commissioners, your county judges, and your departments are having their budget workshops, working up the budget and the effective tax rate for 24. All right. And I don't know about the rest of y'all, but what mine did was they had a massive wake up call. They weren't thinking too far ahead whenever they got their hands on the ARPA funds, the relief from, COVID related expenses and what have you. We had gotten an infusion all across the state into our budgets of that money, right? Well, they did what they were supposed to. They put that money to work. We hired people, we gave some people raises and what have you. But what my folks did in my county, or at least didn't do, was realize that, hey, wait a minute, that money is not perpetual. So that means anything we do, anything we spend our money on in this past cycle, that means that we're going to have to come up with that money in the next cycle because that money's not going to come back in from the state or the feds anymore, right? So now they're actually discussing a tax increase in my county to cover up a $500,000 deficit in the budget that they didn't think of going forward. And I'm hoping that it's just not my county that had the lack of foresight, that possibly other people are having to have the same issues.
Oh, what county is that? I don't know. I don't know anything about you, Jack. I'm sorry.
Well, I like to keep it that way, Simon. Keep everybody on their toes.
I appreciate that.
No, I'm personally located in the center of the earth, Coryell County, Texas. All right. I can get my 9-iron right now, go in my backyard and hit a ball and hit the great place, Fort Hood, Texas, largest military installation in the free world. Right. So my county is in the shape of a square, if you think about it, okay? And then
Okay.
2/3 of that square is Fort Hood, Texas. Oh,
Oh no.
well, they've adjourned the
They
trial
found
for
you.
today. Yeah, right. So 2/3 of that square, what makes up my county, is a military base.
Mhm.
And then you've got populous areas, which is Coppers Cove and Gatesville. All right. And last time I looked, I believe we're up to about 96,000 residents. We've got some of the largest prisons here, where the president of the fan club for Selena, that killed Selena, she's based out of here.
Oh wow.
And not from, because from what I understand, she's going to be released in the next couple of years, and people are already starting to plan their migrations to Corio County. Hey, wait a minute. We've got John Boucher coming to us from the field.
Yeah.
What's up,
Mr.
Cowboy? Can you
John.
hear me? Can you hear
Yes. Yes.
me? Okay. Well, I'm here with Dale Inman. We just left the gallery, listening to the Senate hear all the pretrial motions for dismissal of the various articles of impeachment. Every one of them failed. It looks like the fix is in here, because even though you have a 18-12 ratio of Republicans to Democrats, pretty much every vote, the Democrats held their line, and all of them voted against any of the pretrial motions, and about 10 Republicans sided with them every time. The most ridiculous motion that we heard was one of the motions was made by Paxton. It wasn't a ridiculous motion. It was actually the correct motion. General Paxton's team submitted a motion to exclude any evidence that was illegally gathered, and that motion failed 22-8.
Whoa.
So,
Whoa.
So when you have
To withhold any information.
a body of 30 senators who's saying we're going to allow illegal evidence to be considered, illegally gathered evidence to be considered, that's pretty damn shocking, I think. The last motion that was made by I think Patrick. Patrick presented it. I'm not sure where it came from, but it was whether or not General Paxton would be compelled to testify in this case. Now, they've been vacillating back and forth, and we see this a lot in politics, Jack, as you know, where on one case they say, well, this is a criminal trial, so, it's a criminal trial. We're prosecuting him criminally. This is criminal. It's like, okay, then you can't compel him to testify. They go, well, it's not criminal. It's just a political event. So yeah, we can make him testify. So it's like the Schrodinger's cat here. It is alive, but it's not alive. They have it whichever way. On that last motion, it was hard for me to hear, because the one of the little ladies walking around the gallery felt the need to explain to Dale Inman at the time something about whatever. Yeah, he wasn't walking quick enough. So I didn't hear the last motion, but it seems like they are not going to compel Paxton to testify. Now, the theater they wanted, of course, was to get him on the stand and have him plead the fifth and say, see, he's guilty. He's taking the fifth against self-incrimination. But apparently that's not going to be able to be done. But I got to tell you, if the vote is going to continue on this 22-8 line, some of the votes were 24-6.
Wow.
This is a fait accompli, buddy. This is over with, and I think Paxton is going to get railroaded in this deal.
Wow. That is incredibly disheartening. I mean, so they're not even attempting to make it look like there's a chance for actual justice?
No, not really. I didn't get that impression. Let me ask my buddy Dale here with Red Zone Politics. How did you feel about what you saw in there, Dale?
I honestly thought this was one of the most egregious trials since Christ. And I know that sounds hyperbolic language, but honestly, to see 22 state senators say we're going to break the law and vote yes in favor of that, how can this in any way be considered legitimate at this point? And the answer is it can't. This is a completely illegitimate proceedings at this point forward. And yes, I'm a little upset.
Yeah, we went in and we sat down, and I took a picture. They told me to put my phone away, and then Dale was on his phone reading an email he got, and they came over and told him to put his phone away. So
They don't want what's going on.
yeah, it almost seems like they don't want what's going on to be out there in the public at all.
Right.
But it's, I don't know if y'all are watching it.
Oh, we had it up live stream while we were bloviating over it. But I've actually got the vote up on the screen right now, John, to where it shows that it was a 6-24 vote against dismissing all the articles, right? And that 24 number is 12 Republicans and 12 Democrats.
Yeah, exactly. And there's only 12 Democrats on the panel. I mean, you could have said, motion to declare that we're not really here, and the Democrats would have all voted for it. It doesn't even matter what the motion is, because these people are brainless drones and they just vote in lockstep.
How the Uniparty tells them.
And Michael Quinn Sullivan did a piece on this. Do Democrats run the House? Well, Democrats apparently run the Senate too, because when you got 8 to 10 of them consistently voting with the Democrats in lockstep, what's the point? I mean, this should be a wake-up call to all of Texas to replace every one of these people. Hughes, who's got a reputation for being very conservative, he voted against every motion made by General Paxton. He was with the majority every time. He voted with the Democrats every time. Mays Middleton voted with the Democrats every time. Robert Nichols voted with the Democrats every time. Every time.
Well, I'm looking at
One
Brian
bright spot from
Birdwell.
Montgomery County is that Brandon Creighton voted correctly on each and every instance.
Yes, Brandon Creighton voted correctly, and so did Senator Colkhorst, and so did Senator Betancourt. So 3 of our 4 got it right, and we need to do something about Nichols. I've never liked that guy anyway. You can quote me on that.
The six Republicans, which voted for dismissal, it shows Betancourt, Campbell, Donna Campbell, Brandon Creighton, Bob Hall, Louis Colkhorst, and Tan Parker.
That's Lois Colkhorst.
Lois and Tan Parker.
Yeah. So there you go. I didn't expect them to dismiss everything. I think it's important to have all the information out there. But the most shocking part was the vote about, hey, we're going to vote to whether we follow the law or not. That was the biggest shocking one that tells you right there this whole thing's a sham.
Well, we've got it up on the screen now. It says motion to exclude all evidence before January 2023. So
no, there was a motion. There was a motion to exclude all evidence that was illegally gathered. Was that general?
Okay.
It was the last motion before Dan Patrick started making his slew of motions.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that makes sense. I've got where is this? I've got the Texas Tribune. I'm using their site for these real-time voting results, and that particular vote is not published on the page.
Yeah, well, that was the exact verbiage of it. It was very broad. It just said motion to exclude any evidence that was illegally gathered, and so basically they just voted to not, to have a sham of a system. If you're going to allow illegally gathered evidence, then what's the point?
A kangaroo court.
Excuse me?
A kangaroo court. Simon's holding up a sign. I'm trying to figure out if it says freaking Paxton or free Ken Paxton. What is that supposed to mean, Simon?
It's a Freudian
It says free Ken Paxton. There you go. Free Ken Paxton. I'm part of the protest right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, while you're on the ground, let's talk to people. Tell us what you're seeing.
Well, we're seeing a lot of people kind of like we are in stunned disbelief with what just happened. We did expect John and I on our drive over here today, we did expect that there would be some stuff would be evidentiary, some things would be allowed to be discussed, but we did not think it would be steamrollered over every single motion to dismiss some of these articles, that every single one we would have 14 or so Republican senators say, yes, let's hear this evidence. Now, as many of you know, Texas law says that any committee in the state of Texas is allowed to waive sworn testimony at their discretion, except a general investigative committee. That's in the law. This general investigative committee had no sworn testimony. You might remember back this summer during the House, during
Not a single person was under oath at any given time, correct?
I'm sorry?
During the evidence collection, not a single person was ever under oath, correct?
Correct. There was no oath whatsoever. And specifically, the law says, and their response was, we're allowed to waive testimony. He says, well, the law says a committee can waive testimony, but not a general investigative committee. That's in the law. The statute lists them by name. They waived all sworn testimony, so that what we saw today was the motion to exclude, basically the motion to follow the law. We're going to exclude any information that was not obtained legally, and 14 Republican senators voted no. Now, that's why I said that this is, I don't know what the appeal process is for a Senate court. I don't know if there is an appeal process, what the due process would be for that. But that alone, that technicality right there should kick this out to the appellate. If there's an appellate court that hears, do you have any idea? Is there an appellate court for the Senate?
Yeah, that's actually a great question, because
that's why he asked it.
Who can the adults appeal to if the adults can't agree? We're certainly can't go to the federal government. Exactly. No, there is no appellate court above the Senate, period, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Even the Texas Supreme Court, I don't think would be a court of jurisdiction over the Texas Senate. But again, to see that in the House this summer play out, where Cecil Bell correctly and Steve Toth correctly voted no to this proceeding and said it wasn't done properly. Unfortunately, Will Metcalf, who's a friend, he voted to proceed with that. We had lunch with him last week sometime, and I asked him about it, and I don't think I received a good answer. But the whole process has to be above board. You're looking at destroying America's Attorney General. Really, he's not just Texas Attorney General, he's America's Attorney General, Ken Paxton. And to say we're going to remove him from office, you better follow the book. And that's why I am increasingly convinced the fix is in, and this is a state level Donald Trump sham trial. And to have 14, including Mays Middleton, Republican senators shame themselves and shame the state of Texas by voting, yes, we're going to break the law to impeach Ken Paxton. Now, the trial's not over. I'm hoping they come to their senses, but this was wrong. What we saw today was flat out wrong.
Well, my personal style is not to poke anybody in the eyeball just for the purpose of poking them in the eyeball, but I certainly do look forward to hearing the explanation from the individual Republican senators that did vote with the 12 Democrats, specifically why they did it. What is the justification for voting the way they did? They're going to have to put that out there. They're going to have to put out their.
I hope there's some game. Your mic is on. I hope there's some gamesmanship going on here. I'm speculating that maybe some of them voted that way to preserve the right to reconsider under Robert's rules. I don't know that that's the case, but I tell you what would be very funny, because one of the things they're going to be able to do is they're going to be able to keep Ken Paxton from running for office ever again. If he's impeached on any one of these articles, any one of the 20 now. They're only trying 16, so it's like we're going to test the waters, and if it doesn't go the way we want, then we're going to preserve these other 4 for later, which is crap anyway. So that's what they're doing. And there was a motion to dismiss Articles 17 through 20 that failed. So what I would, and if he gets convicted of one, he's removed from office. He's currently suspended, but he's permanently removed from office, and then they will vote again to determine if he should ever be allowed to run for office ever again. So this is not just about impeaching him and removing him from office. This is about banning him from ever holding an elected position again in the public forum. So just screw the voters and what they wanted. Just get rid of him. This is exactly what they're trying to do to Donald Trump, by the way. So what I would like to see, if they do that, is for Ken Paxton to become the chair of the Republican Party for the state of Texas. And then let's go have at it. That's what we should do.
That, my friend, is not the most crazy thing I've heard today, actually. That's a wonderful idea.
Let's play ball, Ken. We're with you. Now, here's
No
the other
joke.
side to this. Here's the other side to this. And I've said this before, and I told Dale this too. I am a person that's all about justice. If Ken Paxton did these things, he should go down for them. No doubt about it. But I want the same level of accountability for every one of these elected officials. And if we did that, I'd be walking around these halls pretty much alone today, because we know how it works here, Jack.
Yes, sir, you would. And, it's not illegal unless you get caught or blackmailed, whatever.
Yeah. So that's what's going on. I'm sorry I've been dialed out on the show. Sandra told me she was going to be here for the first hour or so, the first half hour or whatever.
Well, overnight, Sandra had a transformation, and this morning she sounds like Mickey Mouse, or Minnie Mouse, actually.
Yeah. So, I guess this is because when I go back in the gallery, they shut me off. I can't speak.
Well, yeah, but there's nothing going on in the gallery. It's either adjourned or it's is it out for the day? Or are they going to pick it up tomorrow?
You know what offices are? We can find them. Okay, we're going to take a walk. So you just have to walk with me a little bit. We're going to go try we're going to try and find our senators. This is a real roving reporter situation.
All right, and I want you to try to put on your best Alex Jones impression. Hey, Senator, what do you think about what's going on today?
The earth is flat. Yeah, no, I ain't doing all that today. Sorry.
Well, I tell you what, I guarantee you there's not enough of our viewers that have been able to take the time to go see that beautiful rotunda that you're walking around in.
It is not.
But I highly recommend. Yeah, look at that. Gorgeous. I highly recommend that any person in the great state of Texas and or visiting the great state of Texas take the time to go visit the Capitol. Look at that. So much history underneath that rotunda where Willie Nelson smoked a joint, possibly, allegedly.
Allegedly. So where are we going, Dale?
I'm trying to figure that out. I think we need to go down. Let's go down here.
Out of those votes, I thought it was pretty interesting. Let's see, I'm going to add this back up here so I can see it. Out of the votes, I was glad to see Senator Donna Campbell's name on the right side of the vote.
I don't know if he was every time.
No, Senator Donna Campbell. I've worked with her before, and she's down in District 25, so that's Hayes County, and along those lines.
Yeah.
But,
All right, I'm gonna get on the elevator. I might lose you. If I do, I'll have to call in later, Jack.
oh, good luck. That'll be about 15 minutes. The show will be over by the time you get out of the elevator.
Oh, well, you can hold this down, man. You're good. Dale's trying to go into the ladies' restroom right now, so I gotta.
You know what? I am the best host this show has ever had today so far. Just saying. And I'm the only host. But you know what? We're so lucky to have people like John, which, trust me, in a million years, I never thought I'd be grateful for John Boucher with our past the way it was, and the fact that we had different ideas of how county chairs should be treated and acted, and what their responsibilities and roles should be. But we had differences. But like he puts it,
I got you back.
we were able to communicate our differences in a respectful way, and always in the name of seeking justice and not personal agendas. So I was just saying, John, Jack Barcroft, am thankful for John Boucher being on the ground and being on the offensive for me and the other citizens of the great state of Texas.
I'm offensive. I am that. I've been told that many times, and I'm very offensive.
Love it.
I don't know. We're just going to start a new special. It's called Lost in the Capitol.
All right. Hey, you throw that on TikTok and you can apparently make a couple of grand a week doing that, walking around with a live feed.
This is what the Capitol would look like if everybody left that was corrupt.
Oh, you're heading underground. So you're on sub 2, not sub 1. There's still one level below you, right?
Yeah.
So you're going after a senator that's not a freshman or something, I guess.
That's right.
They'd be in the basement.
I'm not sure where 13 of the senators.
I'll be very honest with you.
They're this way.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
There is an index right here.
Okay.
Don't waste your time going to the gift shop right there beside you. Everything's ridiculous. I bought a $50 tie there once just because I was meeting the governor and everybody was kicking my butt for the fact I didn't have a tie on.
You got to have a throwdown tie, Jack. You got to have a throwdown tie. Amateur movement.
Well, for 10 years, I've wore that tie anytime I'm around the governor because I'm getting my money's worth.
Well, I see the true Texas project people are represented here at the Capitol.
Texas.
Yeah. Good people.
That's Wayne Hamilton.
Oh, John
Wayne
Boucher,
Hamilton.
Montgomery County troublemaker. How you doing?
Okay.
Pleasure.
Montgomery County.
Yeah, you're on the air right now. Texas Fully Loaded. Exceptional Conservative Network.
That's what you call gotcha media.
Yeah, I don't know where Dale went. I turned my back for a second. He runs away.
He's hiding where the other senators are that you're looking for.
I guess he doesn't understand. I have the keys. So.
That is excellent. Well, John, I appreciate it. Do you think that there's actually going to be more business conducted today, or they're going to just call off until tomorrow?
No, there'll be more business conducted, I'm sure. I'm just not sure what they're going to do at this point. All the pretrial motions for dismissal have been disposed of. There was audible shock in the gallery when that vote was announced about excluding illegally gathered evidence. I mean, that's just
no way.
I mean, what else can you say? I mean,
they didn't even come up with a fancy legal term that they could at least snow people over with, as opposed to being using the word illegally captured.
No, and that was something else, man. It was the people that were voting to move forward, regardless of how the evidence was gathered, they announced their vote proudly and with great certitude. And so,
wow. Not to show my age or anything, but that's like going back and say, listen, if the glove doesn't fit, well, then you got to convict him anyway.
Well, honestly, what this should be is that vote count. Those 10 Republican senators or so that voted with the Democrats every time, that should be effectively their resignation. We can't have that. Look, I understand your conscience and doing what's right. I get that. But on such a blatant thing as excluding illegally gathered evidence, when you vote against that, that says a lot about your character. That says a lot about politics is more important than justice. And it's just wrong. I mean, we afford criminals much more than that. And we're doing this to our attorney general. And it's just wrong. So,
well, John, let's just pray that perhaps this is a little, creative work with Robert's Rules of Order, and possibly that they had already come up with the idea for a reconsideration.
We're hoping there's some gamesmanship going on here, but based on what I saw, I don't think so. And you know, on the very small level, I get some of this in the county too. When you stand up for what's right, you know, sometimes you step on some toes because, you know, people want you to be a principled conservative doing what's right until they're on the tip of the spear, and then they want a favor from you. And if you don't give them the favor, then you're the bad guy and you're the enemy. So, I mean, this whole process is just—it's kind of unbelievable to me. I'm gonna stop and piss on Middleton's door and Nichols' door.
But here's the deal, John. I mean, if something illegal was done, shouldn't that be being carried out within the courts? Oh, look at there.
No, Robert Nichols. And this joker here.
Mays Middleton.
Yeah.
He's been responsible for, his name's been on some legislation. I'm just going to say some legislation, some good, some bad, who knows? But at least he's been active, and he's more active than others, and not just furniture sitting up there.
Yeah, well, I'm not a fan of his at all. Oh, or Dustin Burrows in the House. I mean, there's a long list of people that need to be replaced here.
Oh, I remember Mays Middleton's biggest fan at the time, I recall, was James Dickey.
Well, politics, some strange bedfellows, man. Okay, 806.
Let's see. Doris added that primaries require candidates. We must recruit conservative candidates to the primary every rhino. Tone deaf, lousy excuse, which last night, you know, Walt came up with the term rhinocrats. Loved it. Basically, Doris is saying they need to be replaced. She's second to what you had.
My understanding, can I?
Kaiser, yeah, I'm Dale Linder. I'm SREC4 for Brandon. We just come by to say hello. We're in the area. Oh, well, good. Shiva, anybody? Shiva still in Greece?
I think she's back. She's back in the
Here with
district.
Brandon's crew right now.
We just came in.
Brandon Creighton's office.
And I'm usually here, Ivan's here, and then Kaiser.
Yes.
And I'll steal one of these mints. Don't tell nobody.
I'm taking you up to where you're the main screen right now, so we can just look around the office and see what's going on. Seems very subdued.
There's Dale, doing what Dale does.
Yes.
Yes.
It was nice meeting you.
Yes. Thank y'all for coming by.
Sure, thank you.
Take care of yourself. All right.
Interesting. What do you think? Is there any hope?
Based on
What's
what
the
I
best
saw
case scenario, John, for what's going to come out of this?
Well, unless there's a surprise at the end, where well, here's the deal. If you already have a jury that just told you, no matter what evidence you present, we don't care how it's gathered, we're going to use it. That tells you they don't care about the process. They don't care about justice. They don't care about anything. They're dead set on convicting this man. And look, if he did it, I want him convicted too. But Jack, this thing, let's back up a little bit. The House says the reason that this is here is because Ken Paxton requested this multi-million-dollar settlement for the people that were accusing him of things, right? The House rejected that settlement, which automatically defaults it to the Texas Supreme Court. Once it's adjudicated in the Supreme Court, had he been found guilty, then you would have proceeded with impeachment. But this looks to be ready, fire, aim to me. And so now what happens if somehow he's exonerated here? And then the Texas Supreme Court finds that he actually did all these things. Is it a criminal trial? And does double jeopardy apply? Or does it not? How does that work? So there is a possibility, at least I've floated it, that, maybe Paxton has orchestrated this. Because look, if I committed a really egregious crime and I knew the evidence was stacked against me, I would certainly try and corrupt the process to get out of it. If I was, if I had the ability to do that. And of all people, he has the ability to do that.
There's no appeals court, though.
But there is no appeals court.
You would be trying to get an appeal because there's no one hired.
Yeah. So what do you do now if there is no place to go? So that's what I'm saying. There would have to be some surprise, because right now all indications are these people are hell bent on convicting him. Shit, they could have done this via a Zoom call and just not gathered here and gone through the pretense of this sham of a trial. But they didn't do that.
Right.
So anyway,
that's disheartening. But you've got really some good questions, and not only that, I'm trying to think what could be the upside to it. Now, of course, when they say illegally obtained
the
evidence,
upside. Well, hold on a second. The upside for him is if he actually did this. The upside is even if he's convicted. So if he gets exonerated here, and even if he's convicted in the Texas Supreme Court, they can't go back and take another bite at the apple. So that's the upside for Ken Paxton. The upside.
but I've seen in the past in other cases, in other, just like your friend was saying a while ago about how usually it's before the trial starts, you can decide which evidence can be displayed and which evidence can't. I've always thought that was a sham to begin with, because it's not who's right and who's wrong. It's which lawyer can skew it the most.
Correct.
And
Correct.
put it in their person's favor, right?
Well, there is discovery, but what this body has just ruled today, that the rules of discovery are whatever we want them to be. There are no rules. I mean, again, words escape me when you come before a body and say, hey, can we do everything? Can we admit anything illegally gathered and just do whatever we need to do to pursue this conviction? And 22 senators vote yes. You can do that.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is Texas. You expect that kind of crap in New York and California. I did not expect to see that here. I thought they would at least say, I was not surprised that they upheld every one of the articles to go forward. I think you should get your day. And I think Ken Paxton, if he's innocent, he should want them to go forward also. He should want his day in court to be heard. Because what you don't want is something to get thrown out on a technicality, and then you be tainted forever where they go, oh, you just beat the system because it's technicality, but you're really a crooked scumbag. You didn't want that. But the one I was surprised about was the one we keep talking about, was the motion to exclude all illegally gathered evidence, and and that fails. What the hell? What you got, Dale? Dale had something.
Well, I was just going to say, I'm sitting here reading, just so your viewers can see this, Texas section 301.022. I'm going to show you right here. It says testimony under oath. All legislative committees, that means the House and the Senate, shall require witnesses to give testimony under oath subject to the penalties of perjury. The oath required by this section may be waived by any committee except a general investigating committee. They took all that testimony not under oath. They're specifically named in the statute, and they did it anyway.
And if you go look back at the testimony in the House when they were moving towards impeachment, House member Matt Schaefer stood up and specifically asked the question, were these witnesses sworn? And the answer was no, they were not sworn in this general investigating committee. So it should have never even got this far, number one. But they were hell-bent on pushing it this far. And now that you just see they're willing to break their own rules of the House and their own rules of everything.
Well, not only that, John, but the motion was also to exclude evidence from prior to Attorney General Paxton's term as well. Do you understand that? That they're saying we're going to go back before you even became Attorney General. And
well, but there's another rule that says, that things that happen prior to you assuming office are not admissible either. There's another part of the election code or whatever, as I recall, that was cited to me before. I don't have the exact recitation here. I guess Dale's trying to look it up right now. But that was also in there. They also voted to throw that out the window.
Wow. Well, John, thank you so much. Actually, I look forward to talking to you off air after this is done. But we've got to say thank you to our sponsors. Thank you so much to the Montgomery County Tea Party for being a long-standing sponsor for Texas Fully Loaded. We're accepting new sponsorships all the time. And we greatly appreciate the people out there that allow us to provide the information to you. Say a prayer for Walter West, Sandra Whitten, John Boucher, even Simon. Why not? Let's say one for Simon as well. I want to say thank you so much to our sponsors. And as soon as I can figure this one out, John, we're going to start the